almost 24 hours away from the 2024 NBA Draft getting underway in Brooklyn, New York. And on today's show, we're going to look at the final list of NBA Draft targets for the Miami Heat. We have 10 names for the 15th overall pick, where the Heat are selecting in the first round. We also have 10 more names for pick 43 at the second round. Now, some of those names might go in round one if chaos ensues, but we'll keep an updated list anyway. And make sure you do join us for our live show on Wednesday evening. This is our thumbnail. If you see this, click on it. Come join me as we're going to be live for pretty much the entire first round of the NBA Draft, breaking down every single pick and obviously giving a Heat focus and breaking down the Heat selection in depth as well. So hit that sub button and join us on Wednesday night. All right, I'm not going to rank them. I did that over the weekend. If you didn't see that video, go back and check it out. It's my official big board for the Miami Heat at pick 15 and 43. But I just want to run through the targets one more time. Devin Carter, the guard/forward from Providence, he is someone that is the absolute floor. Like, I think he's going lottery. It's an absolute lock. But the rumor is if Carter were to slide to 15, Miami would take him, no doubt. Someone who I am very fond of, 6'2", 6'8" wingspan, Big East basketball player, would fit the Heat culture quite a bit. Also a son of a former NBA player. If Carter's there at 15, I think the Miami Heat will take him without hesitation. I just don't think he will be. Tristan Silva, the forward from Colorado, is someone that I expect the Heat to target. There's that rumor out there that Miami really likes Silva, and that should become as no surprise, right? Silva is someone very similar to Jaime Jaquez Jr. from a year ago today, where he's experienced, he can do a lot of good things defensively, offensively, passing, shooting. He can do it all. He's also got some size to him, 6'8" in height, 6'10" in wingspan. So this is someone who can play the four, and maybe it's a little bit of a small ball four, but it's better than 6'6" Jaime Jaquez, Jimmy Butler, and Caleb Martin playing at 6'8". That could play a little bit. Holland, forward from the G League Ignite, and I'm kind of growing on the idea of selecting Holland. Someone that I also don't believe will end up sliding to 15. There's buzz that he can go anywhere between 5 and 20. If Holland's there at 15, I would make that pick. Athletic as hell. He can get to the rack at a really high rate, good finisher around the rim, excellent defender that at bare minimum is going to be an above-average defender on the perimeter in this league. If he's there, I'm taking him. The offensive shooting is a question, but I would trust Miami's staff and developmental system to get that part of his game fixed so he can be a contributor in the big-time moments for the Miami Heat. I guess this becomes all mute if you don't make a pick at 15, right? And that's kind of what the question I want to ask. Will the Heat make a pick at 15? Type Y for yes or type N for no? Kind of a twofold question because, listen, the Heat could trade up, they could trade back, but I just want to know, will they make a pick at their current slot, 15? Let me know. Someone that is number one on my big board, if you didn't watch the video last weekend, Jared McCain, the guard from Duke. I just think he is a absolute fantastic basketball player who one of the best shooters in this draft. He's top 3 without a doubt. Lightning quick release, consistent, good, strong base when he shoots as well. To me, McCain, who's my 9th overall player in this draft, not just for the Heat, for everyone, I think would fit perfectly in Miami. I think he can develop into a ball handler and a lead guard. But if not, he's no doubt a good 2 guard that can defend, who's very physical, good lateral movement, and could play off-ball like a Klay Thompson-esque role. I really like McCain. I think he's going to work out in the NBA. He's one of my guys, if you will. I'd love to see him in the 305, that's for sure. Rob Dillingham, the guard from Kentucky, who just continues to have a lot of buzz about him sliding on round 1. Some people had him as a top 5 pick when the collegiate season first ended. Now it is very possible he'll be there at pick 15. Reports from Jonathan Gavoni of ESPN labeled Memphis at 9. I think they labeled OKC and Portland at 12 and 14. And then the Miami Heat at 15 as possible landing spots for Dillingham. I do think there is a legit possibility of him sliding. He's not a guy where it's like if he's there at 15, I'm running to the podium to announce that the Heat selected him. I would be very happy with Dillingham. But I do have a lot of questions about his size, only 6'1", 6'3" wingspan, 164 pounds. Like, that's a very small frame. He'll get constantly targeted on the defensive end, but his offensive upside is so high, I'd be willing to take the shot on him because he can be one of the best six-man in the entire NBA if he reaches his potential. But the size is a concern for me because I don't think you could play him down the stretch of important ball games. Zach Edey, I'll put him on here, and I know, and you know if you've watched a lot of our draft content, that I'm against drafting Zach Edey. I just don't think he's the type of size Miami needs. I'd like a lot more versatility in terms of playing at the perimeter offensively and defensively, which Edey doesn't give you. But there is no denying that Zach Edey is someone Miami has in mind. There's a lot of buzz about Edey not even making it out of the lottery, as Portland has 2 picks, 7 and 14. And apparently Cronin and company really like Zach Edey, so he couldn't even be there for Miami. But a lot of mock drafts do have Edey heading to the Heat, especially Jonathan Givony of ESPN. Almost every ESPN mock draft has Edey going to the Heat at 15. I would be shocked if that's the case, but there's no denying there's a little bit of interest. They did work out Zach Edey as well. Make sure you are subscribed, not only joining us for our live show on Wednesday evening, but I will be breaking down whatever Miami does in the draft, whether it be a pick, a trade, whatever happens, I will break it down in depth on the channel. So subscribe now so you don't miss a beat around the Heat. Kel'el Ware, another big man here from Indiana, someone that I would rather take at 15 over Zach Edey if the Heat wanted to go the big man route, because he just has so much upside and versatility. 7 feet tall, 7'2" wingspan, a good shot blocker to a game, had 16 points and 10 rebounds as well for the Hoosiers a year ago. Shot 42.5% from 3 as well on 1.5 attempts. The potential to become a old Brook Lopez or Miles Turner type player is there if his motor and work ethic checks out. So if Pat Riley likes what he sees in that department, Kel'el Ware is someone I would be very intrigued at 15 because he can be that center long term that moves Bam Adebayo to the 4 because Ware is bigger, he's lengthier, and he can shoot the ball potentially at a higher efficient rate from beyond the arc than Bam can. Another center is Yves Missi from Baylor. The Heat did work out Missi alongside Adem Bona, which we'll talk about him later on in the show as a target at 43. He is a really good runner, like from baseline to baseline, if you will. He can protect it. Good screener, good strong hands that he can catch in traffic. Also developed a little bit of a face-up game that they gave him the ball at the free throw line or high post, which is intriguing. Missi probably wouldn't be able to start right away and move Bam to the 4, but could be a good backup center year 1 with long-term upside of playing alongside Bam if Adebayo were to improve his three-point shot. 2 more guys here at 15. I think Tyler Kolek has to be mentioned. Not someone that I put on my big board of Heat prospects that I would take a look at, but someone that is intriguing to me because he's very experienced, high IQ player, and if the Heat are looking for someone to run the second unit and take some pressure off Hero and Rozier at times as a ball handler, Kolek would run this team perfectly. He's smart, he's physical, he has a good 3-shot. And the Heat have a lot of experience with Marquette guards and Big East players in general, so the fit is there, the scheme is there. I think Kolek is someone Miami likes. It's just a question if it's too rich to pull the trigger at 15. The last guard and the last player we'll talk about here for the Heat at 15 is Isaiah Collier. They worked him out as well in this pre-draft process. I'm a fan of Collier's game, 6'2", with a 6'4" wingspan, 205 pounds. He's very stocky. He's very strong, and he gets downhill at a really good rate. He's a great finisher, whether it be through contact, whether it through finesse layups, up and under, and the fancy ones, if you will, the jelly roulets. He can do it all, but he also can facilitate. Really good passer that wasn't displayed at USC because the Trojans simply stunk and couldn't make a shot. But Collier is someone that I would be intrigued to take and build long term. All right, I gave you 10 prospects that the Heat, I think, will be targeting. And if I got to be honest, I'd be stunned if the Heat's card that they turned in on Wednesday night wasn't with one of those 10 guys' names on it. And that's why I want you to fill in the blank for me. With the 15th pick, the Miami Heat will select blank, drop the name down below. If I was answering that question, which I'm right now, and you could take this as my prediction for the Miami Heat, it would be Tristan Silva, the forward from Colorado. I think after losing Caleb Martin free agency, which is the most expected outcome, the Heat need to add some more depth, wing help, and length in this Heat front court and on their bench. The Silva will be able to contribute right away, which is something Miami will be wanting. So I think Tristan Silva is the most likely scenario for the Heat when they announce the pick with the 15th selection. All right, lastly, let's talk about the Heat's second-round targets at pick 43. 10 names that I think the Heat can rattle off. Pacome Dadiet, Jamal Shead, Dylan Jones, Harrison Ingram, Adem Bana, Jalen Bridges, Keyshawn Johnson, Oso Ighodaro, Jalen Wells, and Zion Poland. I think there's other names out there as well, but these are the 10 most likely names I think the Heat could draft. They worked out Dadiet. Now, I don't think he'll be there at 43. He's getting a lot of buzz for a late first-round pick. But I do want to say this before we head out of here. I'd like the Heat to make 2 selections. It's not always the most likely outcome. Like, the Heat have sold and traded their second-round pick a lot in the past. But I'd like to see the Heat come away with someone at 15 and someone at 43 that they intend on keeping unless they have a blockbuster trade lined up to impact this roster and provide more youth. I think you could find someone at 43 on the wing, at the guard position, whether it be Tristan Newton or Jamal Shead, to help this roster and make it right away. I also think they could find a big man, whether it be Adem Bana or whether it be Quentin Post. Like, these guys can make a difference for the Heat at 43, and I think the 15th pick will be able to be on the roster and contribute as well. So I'd like to see the Heat come away with 2 rookies from this draft and 2 guys that can contribute to the 24-25 team. Make sure you do follow me over on Twitter at Nic_Rohloff because, well, I'll have the news on who the Heat draft there first before I come over here and drop a video. Also, we'll have rumors updating you on everything surrounding Miami. So go give me a follow. I'll see you with a video tomorrow morning before the big night. So follow me there and subscribe to the channel. Go Heat.